What's up everybody, Dave here with another new comic book day haul and recommendations video for all of you. And before I get into the comics and recommendations, I want to do a quick shout out. And today's shout out is going to be for the Figure Trap. And he's got a cool channel with a lot of great content. And this is a non-comic book channel, but I know that there are plenty of us in the comic book community that love action figures and love to collect them. So he does a lot of action figure hunting and figure reviews, and he's also started a new series called Figures on Fire, where he goes through different online store websites and such and shows off some awesome figures that are coming out. At the time of this recording, he's at 562 subscribers, so let's see if we can at least get him up to 570, please. A link to his channel is going to be in the description box below, so if you haven't checked out his content yet, please do so. You're not going to be disappointed. Alright everybody, so let me show you what books I got in this fat stack. First up, we got Conan the Barbarian, issue number 2 from Titan Comics, and this is going to be the cover E. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures, issue number 4 from IDW, cover A. Local Man Gold from Image Comics, cover A. And here's the cover on the back. And then we got the cover B. And then we got some DC books here. Been a long time. Action Comics presents the Doomsday Special, issue number 1. And this is going to be the cover C. And then I got the cover D. And then Giant Size X-Men issue number 1 facsimile edition from Marvel. And also from Marvel, we got Marvel Age 1000. And this is going to be the cover A. And we got Arcade Kings issue number 4 from Image Comics, the cover A. And we got the cover B. And then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vs. Street Fighter, issue number 3 from IDW, the cover A. And the cover B. And we got the cover C. And then we got the cover D, the 1 in 25 retailer incentive. And then this one is pretty cool. We got the cover E, the 1 in 50 retailer incentive. Then we got some World Tree books. World Tree issue number 5 from Image Comics, and this is going to be the cover A. And then we got the cover B. And then we got the cover C, and this is the 1 in 25 retailer incentive. Pretty cool. And then we got the cover D, the 1 in 50 retailer incentive. And then the 1 in 100 retailer incentive, cover E. Everyone, so all those books are really good reads, but now I'm gonna give you my top 3 favorite books from this haul. And first up is Local Man Gold from Image Comics. Let's jump in, show you some of the artwork real quick. Alright, Soundwave, if you would please, thank you. Alright, so this series is just so much fun to read, and this issue was, as usual, a good mix of being serious and funny. We got Jack here who wakes up and immediately gets taken to the police station because a time-displaced version of himself has shown up with a group of heroes, and they're fighting some sort of war for the universe. And they were sent here, as the team leader puts it, to squash any anomalies. And as it ends up being, their mission is kind of funny in that they need to find a woman who is a time folder, as they put it, but the only way to activate her powers and get to their goal is to get her to fall in love with somebody. That's how her powers get activated. But the banter in this issue between old Jack and young Jack and the team is just so hilarious. You know, at one point at the start of the mission here, they want him to summon a jet because it's the woman is 250 miles away. So they want him to summon a jet, but they don't know that he's not in the main team anymore. And he's like, yeah, I can't do that. So instead of doing that, he ends up calling an Uber, and it's the guy from the previous issues who absolutely hates him. And just as he's cursing Jack out, the other people from the group, they end up just stealing the guy's car. Everybody jumps in and they just go off on the mission. It was a hilarious scene. They end up being pursued by some character who arrives, and he's called the Flame, who, as you can guess, has fire abilities. They end up finding the woman, and young Jack makes a move. And seriously, the line that he uses to try and get this woman to fall for him is just so bad, but it's just so hilarious also. I mean, I was laughing my ass off after I read that. It was just too funny. This series, I've said it before, it's like a cross between The Boys and The Tick. And the line that he uses is like one, I mean, when he said it, I thought of Deflator Mouse. It's something that Deflator Mouse would use in the Tick cartoon. It was just so corny and stupid, but hilarious though. Eventually a big battle with the Flame ends up happening, and another member of the team is able to activate the woman's powers. And Jack and young Jack, they end up having it out, and this actually ends up being a good thing, as Jack's past kind of changes, like slightly, a little bit, his relationship with his mother and such. And this ends up showing him, that his younger self actually could change. And the team ends up meeting the other teams that are fighting this war, and of course they end up saving the universe. I didn't realize it until the end of the book, where they had the credits and such, that the team that young Jack is with, all those characters are from older Image imprints. I was not really familiar with old school Image, except for like Savage Dragon and like Gen 13 and Spawn, of course. But these other ones, I had no idea who they were, and they were actually characters from other imprints. I wasn't too familiar with Gen 13. I mean, I've heard of them, but I never was really very familiar with them, but I knew they were Image. But again, it was pretty interesting to have all these other characters there. And just, the writing is just great, and the artwork is just very cool. This is a series that I highly recommend anybody to check out, especially if you like the idea of The Boys and The Tick, the humor from The Tick and the seriousness and the goriness of The Boys put together. I think it's just a good combination. So I can't wait for issue number 6 and the new story arc to start. All right, so next up is going to be Arcade Kings, issue number 4, also from Image Comics. It's an all Image Comics recommendation today. Check out some of the artwork here on the inside. All right, so this was really, really good, this issue. And this series has really picked up a lot. So we have Joe. Joe is this one with the funky head here. He arrived in the last issue at his brother Ken's arcade. This is Ken, of course, which infuriates Ken. He absolutely hates his brother. They argue, and Joe he's not able to explain the situation to Ken, who's just completely fed up with him, and he's being bullied by I guess it would be like their stepfather, basically, who's controlling the town and trying to get Ken basically to either leave or take this offer of, he can stay at his arcade and, have that, but he basically has to like submit to Vic. Basically, Vic is the stepfather. But anyway, they argue. Joe's not able to explain the situation to Ken, who, thinks that he was sent by Vic to bully him into submitting. And they end up fighting, and surprisingly, Ken wins. Ken was always the weaker one of the two, but Ken wins, and we get some more backstory in here about why Ken is so pissed at Joe, and a little bit of explanation for why Joe's head is the way that it is. I always thought that it was a mask, honestly, but it's not. It's apparently his actual head. I'm not going to spoil any of this stuff. I'm trying to keep it, really spoiler free here. But after Joe is defeated and Ken walks away from him, I mean, Joe is like trying to get him to like help him up, and like, they're brothers and he wants to be with him again, but Ken just clearly just is so pissed at him and just walks away from him, just leaves him there lying in the street. Joe ends up getting taken back to Vic, and since he's failed in what he was attempting to do, they end up undergoing a procedure together that transfers power from Joe to the old and decrepit Vic. And it's shown in the issue there that they've done experiments on both of these kids, and Joe was always the more powerful one and made the most progress. So that's why Vic has him in this procedure, and it's basically rejuvenates Vic, but way beyond what he once was. And you get a little glimpse at the end of the issue of what Vic looks like now. So I'm very interested to see what's happened to Joe now and how strong or how weak he's going to be now. And I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of confrontation between Vic, Ken, and Joe. I'm sure there's going to be some way that Ken and Joe are going to work things out and take on Vic together, hopefully. But I really enjoyed that they provided some more backstory about Joe and Ken and their falling out. And I love the writing in this issue and the artwork. I mean, particularly during the fight between Joe and Ken was just freaking fantastic. I can't wait until the next issue, and this is definitely a great series. Anyone not reading it, you should definitely check it out. Alright, and last but certainly not least, we've got World Tree issue number 5, again, also from Image Comics. Let's jump in, check out some of the artwork here. Try not to get into some spoiler pictures here. Alright. Sine wave, thank you. Alright, so this series has really picked up really well. And at the end of the last issue, we learned the identity of the crazy murdering naked lady that's running around town killing a bunch of people, and her connection to the group that's trying to stop her and the Undernet. She found their base and she's infiltrating the building. I'm not going to spoil her identity here, okay? So I'm just going to keep that out of it, at least for now. This issue initially picks up, actually, not at the very end of the last one, but in the future. It picks up in a post-apocalyptic year of 2049, where it seems like Ellison is on a mission to stop the Undernet, which seemed to have spread everywhere, and he's trying to save anyone who is left alive. We do end up going back to the present, and Gabriel realizes things in the world are worse than expected, and we're seeing all these news reports about people going crazy and just killing people all over the place, all over the globe. And in a desperate attempt to stop its spread, Gabriel ends up taking down the whole internet, except for, as he says, one site, and that site ends up being the World Tree website. His influences allowed him to gain access to certain servers and such, and he planted programs in there to take them all down as a last resort. The woman, she goes apeshit when she realizes this, and she kills a member of the group. Again, no spoilers. But instead of killing her, the rest of the group lets her leave. It's very strange. They let her leave because Gabriel tells them they have to let her go, because he says that they will need her alive to undo what's happened. It's a really strange sequence, and when I read it and seeing the end of the issue, it really made me think back to Infinity War. It feels like Infinity War, where Doctor Strange allows Thanos to win. He gives him the time stone, and he allows him to win because that's the only way to eventually defeat him. So the issue ends with Ellison in the future spray painting "The truth is on worldtree.net." He ends up spray painting it, huge words, letters all over the place. And I guess he's trying to get people to go to that site. I guess there must be some sort of internet or power or something. It's not really explained too well there at the end, because the place looks in shambles, so it doesn't look like there could be any power anywhere. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on there at the very end. So that I'm really interested, in seeing what happens next. This was a very interesting issue, and I wasn't expecting the death that had occurred in it, and the scenes from the future. I wasn't expecting it to be something like that, but it's definitely taken, a left turn from what I thought it would be, and I've enjoyed it. I really did. So I'm really looking forward to the next issue and seeing where we go from here. All right, everybody, so that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider hitting that good old like button, subscribing to the channel, and everybody that's already subscribed to the channel, thanks very much. Always appreciate all of your support. And if you feel like it, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of these recommendations, if you've read any of them, or just say hi. Always love hearing from everybody. Thank you, Soundwave and Ravage, for all your help, as always. I'm running off into battle here. And also, don't forget, check out the CBC Awards website. I'll have a link to that in the description box below. And we're up to the point of voting on the winners for the different categories. The finalists have been announced. And if you go onto the website there, you'll be able to vote for who you want to win in all different categories. Lots of great content creators. So definitely, please check that out and drop some votes. All right, so until next time, be safe and be well, and I'll catch you later.
Yeah, I'm just